You know, it's interesting times we live in, isn't it? Particularly when we look at what's happening in this country, and more importantly, government's reaction to what's happening in this country, how they decide they're going to, well, try and run our everyday lives and effectively dictate what we do and what we don't do. Naturally, a lot of us have an awful lot to say and think about this. And as always, Parliament thinks, or the people in Parliament think they are one step above and completely separated from the rest of the country. And they can do whatever they like without reproach. Well, of course, we get to a point in our history where people get cheesed off with it, don't they? And believe that enough is enough. And when enough people get cheesed off, they start saying things and start shouting and starting taking rather drastic action. If you believe that's the case, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel about it. I want to read you something that I found. The way politics is conducted must change because harassment and intimidation of MPs is unacceptable, according to Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Laura Trott. She was speaking after it emerged that Justice Minister Mike Freer is to step down as an MP at the next election due to a decade of intimidation over his support of Israel. Trott told the News, "It's incredibly sad. Mike Freer is a brilliant minister and a great man, and he's made a huge contribution to British life. And at the end of the day, if you're in a job and you feel it's putting your family at risk, putting yourself at risk, you've got to make that choice, haven't you?" And I can see that's the case here. The fact he feels he cannot stand as an MP at the next election because of the intimidation that he has been part of is frankly unacceptable. We need to change the way politics is conducted in this country. I can't argue with that one. So that people can air opinions without fear of harassment and intimidation. Now, is it people or is it MPs? Because if normal people air their opinions and their views, they often get arrested if they don't fall in with line. So what are we talking about here? Politicians, who are people, or Joe Public, the likes of you and me? She added, "I stood on a manifesto to increase the police officer numbers by 20,000, and that's something we have delivered." Bollocks. We are seeing the impact, especially if I think about my local area. I'm in Sevenoaks and Swanley. I've now got more police officers on the beat every day, and that's one of the reasons why crime has come down by 50% since 2010. I could make another video out on that last two paragraphs, but there's several points in there, isn't there? You know, feeling intimidated because of one's ability to have an opinion. Very important points in there. But if we go back to politics, we go back to politicians, if you boil it right down with the setup we have at the moment, they are elected on the basis that they are going to look after our best interests, have our interests at heart. And seldom now, you get the odd one or two which really try their hardest, but seldom are we presented with a parliament that does anything of the sort. And quite often they go with the interests of their party and the interests of Parliament ahead of the interests of the British people. And then they wonder why we get pissed off. And people who are more inclined to do things about it, do things about it. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, if you want to see another one of my videos on this, you do that one there. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.